Hi everyone, this is Noah Sandler from MTGO Academy, and I am sad to say that this is going to be my last Draftcandy video for MTGO Academy. We are closing up shop on the content side, but I am glad to have been able to do 63 Draftcandy videos and 3 set reviews for all of you. I really hope that you have learned a lot about how to think about Magic and drafting. And if you're interested in getting more content from me and learning more from me, I'm going to be focusing more of my time doing one-on-one coaching. If you're interested in that, you can shoot me a message on Twitter at Nova Sandler or on Twitch, twitch.tv/MotoGrinder1. With that all said, it's now time to jump into queue for the very last time. And it's going to be a cube. So, excited about that. Let's jump into queue. Okay, we have a few good first pickable cards. Garruk Wildspeaker, Mere Battlesphere, Wasteland, Vendilion Click, and Force of Will as the best cards. Garruk is really good in green ramp. Battlesphere is one of the better, maybe in the middle of the pack as far as finishers for a green ramp deck, but it also plays well in other decks as well, so it leaves you a little more open. Click and Force of Will are both good blue cards. Not quite as powerful, I think, maybe a step beneath Garruk and Battlesphere, but they're in blue. Blue's a good color. And Wasteland keeps you open and is good in aggressive decks. I'd probably rather pick the Battlesphere, though, for trying to stay open. So I think it's a really close pick. I think I'm leaning Battlesphere as something that's not as powerful as Garruk, but just goes into at least a few more decks, because you can play it in control decks as well as ramp. So I think I'm going to go there, but I think any of these 4 picks are pretty reasonable. And Click versus Force of Will, I think I would take Click. Here we've got a Batterskull, Thassa, Elvish Mystic, Deep Analysis, and a Lightning Strike. Thassa would be cool if we went for Vendilion Click, who could move in on Mono Blue Devotion, which is one of my favorite decks in the cube. But I think I'm going to take the Batterskull and just stay open. We've got 2 kind of expensive artifacts. Now, this isn't Powered Cube where we have Mishra's Workshop and we can sell these out really quickly, but it still leaves us really open. And we've got 2 powerful cards to start off the draft, so I'm okay with this. We have a Gideon, Kytheon, Stoke the Flames, Reflector Mage, Cloud Skate. So white and blue seem pretty open. I think Gideon is better than the younger Kytheon, so I'm going to go with the Gideon. And yep. Also Farseek, you could still try to move into green ramp, because we've got some expensive cards. But I'll go with Gideon. Could be token-based. There's some really good cards here. Nissa, Drana, Remand, Assemble Legion, Glenelundra Archmage. Yeah, those are very strong. And Assemble the Legion is very, very powerful. And we're looking at maybe being white. Perhaps we could try for the red-white tokens archetype, which tends to actually be a more controlling deck. It's not an all-in aggressive deck, really. So I could make that work. Clearly, green ramp and blue devotion, or just blue, is like both of those are really open, and it's unfortunate that we kind of missed the boat on that. But do we stay off the boat, or do we get on the boat now? Because we could just take Glenelundra. Kind of just leaning Assemble. This is my favorite archetype in the cube, up there with blue devotion. So I'm going to take the Assemble, see if we can do the red-white tokens thing. And we have Lightning Helix, Precinct Captain, Brimstone Volley, Phyrexian Revoker. So, interesting pick between Precinct Captain and Lightning Helix. Helix, just a strong card. Now that we're looking to be red-white, definitely a solid pick. Precinct Captain, though, does make tokens, and it's a 2-drop. It's a 2-drop that can make multiple creatures, which is pretty nice in these decks. The double white can be difficult if we go for a red-white base, where we're even with the colors, but if we're more white and splash red, I think that we could make the captain work. I think I'm just leaning captain, but I think this pick is very close. Helix is a strong card, but if we're going to be taking Anthem effects and try to pump all our tokens, we're going to want a bunch of creatures, and just a good removal spell isn't as important as something that can make multiple creatures. We have Siege Gang Commander, a Johnny Caller the Pride. The Johnny is fine, but it's not as good in token decks. The Johnny's best if you have a big creature to pump, or like a creature with good abilities to pump, or a big creature to give flying and double strike to. So we're going to go with Siege Gang Commander, makes 4 creatures for 1 card. And Badlands, Temple of Triumph, Arc Trail, Banisher Priest. Arc Trail's certainly good, but I think given that we took the Precinct Captain, and we've got Siege Gang now, I think we got to take the Temple of Triumph and get plenty of fixing. Okay, Sublime Archangel can be really strong with tokens, because you get the Exalted triggers from everything, so that's pretty good. Stormbreath Dragon's fine, it's really good against White Weenie. And Forked Bolt is okay for the main and a good sideboard card against Elf decks. I think the Forked Bolt is a little more important than Archangel, but I could definitely be wrong. So Archangel does attack for like 8 damage the following turn, but if we're playing Anthem effects, it kind of reduces the value of having the Archangel, since if all your creatures are bigger, you'd rather just attack with all your creatures. Here, Swift Spear, Chandra, the Click came back. The blue's really open. Mutavault and Yosei. And Stomping Ground. Swift Spear is not that important in these kind of decks. Yosei is just a little clunky. Mutavault's just tough on the mana, though it's good with Anthem effects. It's Mutavault or Stomping Ground. I might take the Mutavault. Stomping Ground if we get some kind of fetch that might allow us to search for the ground, but I might take the Mutavault because we could get some nice Anthem effects that would want to, especially if we get actually good fixing and we get a bunch of duels, we could justify running the Mutavault. Here we'll take the Krenko's Command over Fetters. Fetters is really good, but we just want to focus on getting as many creatures into play as possible, so the command is more important. And Bombardment versus Stoke the Flames. I think Goblin Bombardment is just overrated. Like, you have to spend a whole card, and then you have to sacrifice your other cards, which are useful in you know, for doing other things, just to deal 1 damage. So I'm just going to take the Stoke the Flames, which is also great with tokens. Great with Siege Gang Commander. And we'll take Pia and Kieran over Chainwalker, another card that makes 3 tokens. And we got the Lightning Helix back. Maybe one reason to actually... Oh, and the Arc Trail. Maybe one reason to pass on the Helix. I wasn't expecting it to wheel, but definitely more likely to wheel than Precinct Captain. So, you know, we missed the boat on the blue and green decks, which could have been great. But the red-white tokens deck is super open right now. So I guess people around us are playing a lot of black. So that's kind of interesting. And it looks like we're getting more red cards. So, like, you know, the mono red deck was probably open. And there's some good stuff here that I'm seeing. Wow. Wow. A lot of great cards. I mean, Abbott, Char, those are fine. Honor the Pure. Unfortunately, we're going to make a lot of red tokens, it seems. So Honor the Pure isn't going to work in this deck. Chandra Flamecaller. I mean, it makes tokens temporarily. It's just a powerful card. Chandra Torch of Defiance. Also... I mean, pretty powerful card. It's not insane. And then there's Spectral Procession, which makes a bunch of tokens. Fleetwheel Cruiser, Hangerback Walker, also fine cards. So I think I'm leaning Procession. The mana base is going to be a little bit awkward, but if we can just play this on turn 4 for 3 1/1 flyers, I'm pretty happy. And, I mean, Chandra is just kind of expensive. And then the 4-mana Chandra is... good, but it's not insane. It's mostly a removal spell and then gets you a little extra value, but we get so much value out of just making a bunch of tokens and pumping them that I think Procession is more important. Probably that's wheeling anyway. There's so many good red cards in the pack, and mono red seems to be open. And there's Elspeth and Raise the Alarm. Also, Isochron Scepter, which could be interesting. We've got a Helix. The Raise Alarm's probably wheeling, although we're not going to get Raise Alarm and Scepter since we're going to take the Elspeth here. Thundermaw could be really good against us, just annihilates a Spectral Procession. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Mana Confluence either, just to get the really good fixing. But Elspeth's just really powerful. Interestingly, we have no 3-drops, just the Spectral Procession, which we're probably not going to be able to cast on turn 3. So I'd like to pick up some 3-drops. We've got some really powerful 4s and 5s, so we want to get some more 2s and 3s to balance out the curve so that the opponent is under pressure when we play our really good 4s and 5s. Here we have Burst Lightning, Collective Defiance, Firecraft, and Martial Coup. Martial Coup does make tokens, and it is a very powerful card if you get up to 7. So I might consider that. If it would slow the deck down a little bit. We'd play a little more controlling, which this deck can definitely be a controlling archetype. And I mean, this is just such a game ender. Also Collective Defiance, so 4 to a creature, 3 to opponent, gets a discard cards in hands. I mean, it's generally a good card. Burst Lightning is just more, like, cheap. Yeah, I'm not sure here. Martial Coup, you can always just, like, play it for 3 tokens for 5 mana. It's not exciting, but it does put tokens into play. So, I think I'm going to go with the Coup. As far as the red cards, it's not Firecraft. It's either Defiance or Burst Lightning. I would lean Burst Lightning, but I haven't played with Defiance that much, so I could be wrong. Here we have some good options. Riftbolt's good. Beetleback Chief. Just another one of those Army of Can cards. Angel of Invention. Another Army of Can card, but it also pumps up our other creatures. It's pretty fragile, though, but yeah, it's probably just better than Beetleback Chief. Because if it does survive, then it's really good. And it does have lifelink, so that could be nice. Also, Hollowed Spirit Keeper is good, but we're not going to have a lot of creature permanents. Like, we only have 4 right now, so this is not actually going to give us a ton of tokens. Still a good card, even if it just gives you 1 or 2. So, you know, honestly, we're probably going to wheel whatever we don't take here. I'm going to go with the Angel. Not sure about that. Outpost Siege, Sun Titan, Angel of Serenity, Firefist Striker, Council's Judgment, Chapel. We're going to take the Judgment. Just a really good removal spell. Going to need to pick up some more fixing, though. We got a lot of double white, a lot of double red, so it could get awkward. And Chain Lightning over Seeker, Flicker Wisp, Gorger. This type of deck doesn't really want Gorger type cards. We're going for a more value-based game. So I'm not that interested in just trying to run people over and then spending a whole card on a creature that's going to be outclassed later. Yeah, I'm not as interested in that, but Chain Lightning's good. Land Tax. Land Tax could actually be really good in this deck because we need that fixing. So if we're going to be on the draw, I would love a Land Tax. Just set us up perfectly for the rest of the game for expensive cards. So I like that. Otherwise, I would just take a Relic of Progenitus for the board. Here we have Bushwhacker, Warhammer, Revelark, O-Stone. So do we want a Bushwhacker? Actually, Revelark could be really good. We've got Pia, Angel of Invention, Siege Gang Commander. We don't have a ton of targets, but if we get any one of them back, that's pretty nice. I think I'm going to take that. I'm not sure how good Bushwhacker would be. Like, you get a 1-turn pump to your team, which seems nice with tokens, but I'm not sure if that's enough. Here, Flamecaller, Abbot, Char, Cruiser. And Char's not bad. Abbot's pretty good. I might go with Abbot. Could use, I need something I can get back with Revelark. And it's a decent late game play as well as on turn 2. Okay, got the Raise Alarm back over Hellkite. Got plenty of 5s, don't really need that. I'll take Defiance. And Beetleback Chief over Riftbolt. And I mean, Striker's not that bad because we're going to get Battalion pretty often. It's worth considering. I think I'm going to go for Seeker. I would consider Gorger just for some matchups if we feel like we have to just become the aggro deck. I think Gorger would be a little bit better, but Seeker is just so much more powerful, and we have a lot of ways to trigger it. In fact, we're probably just playing this main, honestly. We're going to be cutting stuff, but we have 16 non-creature spells at the moment. So Striker actually is nice, but it might just be a sideboard card against big creature decks. Forked Bolt, probably not making the main. Active Aggression can go. Battlesphere is probably just too expensive. The Martial Coup is just better for its cost. Here we have Cloud Goat Ranger. Ugin. Ugin's just too expensive. Collective Effort. Collective Effort could be really good. And we have plenty of Cloud Goat style cards for our 5-drops, like the Angel, the Siege Gang. So it's probably wheeling, but I think Collective Effort could be really good in this deck. It's just so flexible. Destroy Enchantment's great. Destroy Big Creature is great, because we've got Burn, but killing a big creature could be useful. We only have a couple ways to do that so far. So let's try that. Emrakul, don't need that. Amira Angel, that's good. Finks is great in some matchups. Flame Slash, good board card. Okay main, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to make the cut. Not huge on Fiend Hunter. So Finks for a good sideboard card, or Mary Angel for another great 4-drop, but we're getting pretty clunky at 4. I think Angel is probably better than Beetleback Chief, so I think it's going to be a slight upgrade for the main deck. I think it's better than Batterskull and probably than Revelark. So that's probably worth it over taking the Finks for the board. Finks is a 3-drop. We don't actually have any 3-drop creatures right now, so that's kind of nice. And being a creature that sticks around, that makes it just good for... It makes it kind of like a token card since it comes back after it dies. Yeah, I'm going to take the Finks. Here we have Sarkon, Scalding Tarn, Selfless Spirit. Selfless Spirit's nice. Be able to protect all of our tokens. The Tarn, if we can pick up a duel, would be really, really good. Sarkon is just not that important. So yeah, it's Tarn versus Spirit. We didn't take the Mirror Angel, though. It very likely could wheel with how this draft has been going. And we don't have any use for a fetch currently. No synergy. So this is useless unless we get something to combo with it, like a duel. It also lets us get like a Hallowed Fountain or a Tundra that could work. So I think I'm going to go with the Tarn. Selfless Spirit could also table, more likely than Tarn. So I'm going to go with the Tarn. Ooh, Treachery. Here we have Mother of Runes, Koth, Young Pyromancer, Roast. That's some good stuff. Koth is very powerful. We're not going to have a ton of mountains, and it's just another 4-drop, so I don't think that's going to be the pick. Pyromancer is very nice. We've got a lot of instants and sorceries, so it's going to make a lot of tokens, which is what our deck's about. Mother of Runes, it's always a good card, but none of our creatures, other than the Angel of Invention, are we actually interested in protecting. We just want them to make a bunch of small creatures and overwhelm our opponents. So it's less important in a deck like this. It's still a good card, just as a sort of infinite blocker and just to be annoying, but I'm going to go with the Pyromancer. There's Volcanic Island. That's not the one that's going to help us, but if we took it, it would open up some other fetches. We have Elspeth Tyrell, which, makes tokens. I mean, it's a good card. It would be better than Batterskull or Revelark, so it's an upgrade. Yeah, I'll probably take it. Just really want the fixing, but we don't know that the volcanic island's actually going to fix. That's tough because I mean, if we do get a fetch, then the island's going to be really good. But I think that Elspeth is going to make the cut, so I'm gonna take Elspeth. We got Flooded Strand. Is that? Yeah, we just missed on that. So if we took, yeah, dang. So do we now take the Strand? Because we don't even know if the Strand's going to do anything. There's also Boris Reckoner, which is really good. I think we got to take the Reckoner. It's just such a powerful card. If we're red white, probably not playing the Mutavault. I mean, our mana base is going to be terrible. O-Ring, Thalia. Thalia actually hurts us a lot, and O-Ring's fine, but Reckoner I think is just more powerful. Savannah, Hordling Outburst, Bonfire. Hope we don't face Bonfire. Recruiter the Guard, search for toughness 2 or less. It is fine in this deck because we have some good things to search with it, but nothing broken to get. So I think we take the Outburst. Another card that makes 3 tokens over the Savannah, but I am worried about our mana base. Ooh, Johnny Vengeant. That's just a strong card. You just play that. And Irish Shaman, Fire Ice. Probably Fire Ice. Might be some matchups where we would want it. And Flame Slash. And there's something I wanted here. Probably Oust. Against big creatures, Reanimator kind of stuff. Sarkon is just not making the cut. Let's get the Batterskull. Take the Cough. Oh, Volcanic Island. We didn't take the Strand. We had another shot at it. That's rough. It was unlikely that happened. All those circumstances where I didn't take the fetch or the duel at the very end of the draft. Taiga. We're just missing barely constantly. Bushwhacker. I'm not playing Bushwhacker, so. Well, we can fake a second color pretty easily. We would play Taiga if we play the Finks, because it helps cast that. I guess we might play the Tarn for the Taiga for the Finks. It seems reasonable. Don't need the Volcanic Island, though. I mean, there's a Wasteland in the draft. We don't want to randomly let ourselves get Wastelanded for no reason. We'll cut the Oust. We'll cut the Abbot. It's hard to cut Arc Trail. This is so good. Cut Recruiter. Defiance. Finks. Maybe Stoke. Koth, probably. Right now we're at 25. Angel Dimension or Revelark. Revelark, we didn't get too much more for it. Now we got a few things. So we got Pyromancer, Captain, Seeker, Beetleback Chief, Pia, Siege Gang Commander, Angel of Invention. That's pretty nice. Getting any one of those back is pretty good. Of course, you know, our 4s and 5s are just so good that and the Procession's basically a 4. Martial Coup could be a 5. Oh boy, our mana base. Maybe Precinct Captain goes, actually. Getting double white on turn 2 is going to be really rough. We have plenty of 2-drops. We have 4 2-drops. I mean, not plenty, but I don't think Precinct Captain's coming on turn 2 a lot anyway. I guess Abbot of Carol Keep is probably just a better 2 if we wanted to play one, because we can actually cast it on 2. And Prowess is good for this deck. And yeah, you know, we seem a bit clunky here. Like the curve is just there's just too many 4s. Thinking about maybe Stoke the Flames could go. It's good. It's just a 4 damage wherever you want. And we have a good amount of removal. Arc Trail is just such a blowout when it works, and it's so hard not to be able to just get a 1-for-1 with it. So it's kind of hard to cut that. I mean, Stoke is nice to convoke with, like, Just run out Siege Gang Commander and then play Stoke for free. That's a really good tempo play. But I think the deck's a little clunky. Maybe we could cut a 5, but unfortunately the only 5 we could cut would be Angel of Invention, and then the Reveler gets worse, so I don't want to do that. I think I want the Martial Coup, just if things go badly. Now, how many ways do I actually have to pump creatures? We got the Angel, this Gideon, we can Emblem, and Collective Effort. So that's not a lot. We've got a ton of cards that make tokens, and we didn't get a ton of stuff that takes advantage of having tokens. Maybe put the Batterskull in. I mean, Batterskull is still a very powerful card, and considering I didn't get a ton of stuff that takes advantage of having tokens, this is a card that does, since you can just equip a token. So I don't know, maybe I can now devalue some of the token-making cards that I had. So, like, Beetleback Chief now is just not as exciting, since we're not really doing much with the extra tokens. So I think that's replaceable. I think by Abbot of Kirkeep or Batterskull. Right now we're at 23, so I could just run this deck. Mana base is kind of ugly. One more thing I could do is try to cut down on the double red and make the deck more white focused and make the mana base fit that a little bit. Like cutting Hordeland Outburst, Pia, maybe Stoke, and getting in Captain, Finks, Batterskull, that type of stuff. And try to keep it mostly single red. I mean, the Outburst on turn 3 is a little tough. So we're going to go basically even on mana. It might even be leaning red at the moment because of the Outburst, where if we took the Outburst out, we could lean white. Because we put Finks in and then lean white, and then I think the rest of the deck just works a little better, because we do have more double white cards. We do want more white. But with the Outburst, because we are going to go 9-8, with the Outburst we have to go 9-8 Mountains, really, to be able to get that on turn 3. But if we place Outburst with Finks, then we can go 9-8 Plains, and then we have a chance of actually getting Procession on turn 3. So I'm good with that. And lastly, do we want to get Batterskull in for anything? We got Siege Gang, Pia, Stoke. I think I'll try the Stoke. So let's go with this. Let's get the mana base. So right now with the Finks, the Tarn gets the Taiga, which helps Finks come out on turn 3. I think that's worth it. I mean, we're losing a life. You know, that's not really worth it. Like, losing one life in a lot of games for... all we're hoping for is specifically the outcome where we want to play Finks on turn 3, or at some point, and we don't have enough white sources, and we have the Tarn, and the Taiga's still in the deck. That just doesn't come up that often. I think you're more likely to lose a game where you would have been at one life than being in that exact situation. So I'm not going to go with the Tarn, but I will play a Taiga because it does help. And there's really no downside to it. So for mana base... Oh, sorry, I made a mistake because we do have the Temple of Triumph. So we're going to go for a 9/9 mana base. But I might actually go one more white. I think I will. I think white's more important. So 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. So 8 plains. 7 mountains? No, 9 plains and 6 mountains. So this is going to be 8. So this is going to be basically 10 white, 8 red. It's a touch short on red, but I think it's okay. So, all right, save the deck, and I'll see you guys for round 1.